Hello and welcome to the second episode of the Cuba in Focus podcast. In this episode, we're going to be looking at Jacob Chambers, and our host, or my co-host this week, is Ben Stokes.
Hello.
So before we get into Jacob Chambers, James Alonso competed at Fontwell Open last weekend, so I just thought I'd touch on some of the results he got. So in 4x4, he managed to get a counting 38 single in the first round and a 37 single, which I think was his overall PB, did you say?
I'm pretty sure he said to me in the waiting area that at least one of them was, but I'm not sure if he said both of them were.
Yeah, but he sadly had a counting 51 in that average, so it was only a 43 average, but that's still pretty fast. Yeah. And then in 3x3, his averages... Well, his first and final averages weren't great, but he got a 9.23 average, which wasn't quite PR in the second round. But he had a 7.87 single, and I seem to remember in one of his videos he said he wanted a sub-8 single at his competition, so he made that goal.
Yeah, obviously he came very close to Guildford with an 8 flat, so it's...
Yeah, it's cool to see him get a sub-8 so early on as well. Right, so now we got that out of the way. This week, as I said, we're looking into Jacob Chambers. He started competing at UK Championships 2017, and since then he's been to 20 competitions and set one national record. So Ben here is pretty good mates with Jacob, and he's... Yeah, a bit of an expert on Jacob Chambers' results.
Definitely his biggest fan. Yeah.
So if we look at his first competition, his best 3x3 average was 16, and his best single was 14. So straight up, that's pretty decent for a first competition. Do you know exactly when he first started cubing?
Yeah, I do. So and I know this because it was just a couple of months before me, and I believe it was around February 2017. So It was averaging around there after maybe how long? Half a year of cubing. So that's already quite a decent progress.
That is very, very quick progress. And at UK Champs, he didn't compete in 2x2. Doesn't look like he
competed in one-handed, I believe.
One-handed, where he got a 43 average. So not great, but pretty good for your first competition. I know lots of people who will struggle to beat that at definitely not their first competition. So his next competition was Manchester Open 2018, where he only just beat his 3x3 average by 0.05. But he also competed in lots of other events, such as 2x2, got a 5 average, 4x4, and so on. He's probably competed in loads. I don't know, not that many. But, so he doesn't, at this point, he hasn't really improved that rapidly. But then, Manchester, that was in February, was it?
Manchester's normally around February, March time.
Yeah, February and March. So between Manchester in February and Peterborough Open in June, July, he managed to drop his 3x3 average from 16.5 to 11.6. That is actually nuts. So how many months is that? Wait, let's see exactly when Manchester was.
4 or 5 in that realm.
4 months. 4.5 months. He dropped his official average by 5.5, just over 5 seconds. That's ridiculous. That's almost as good as James Alonso, I think.
It's pretty good improvement. I'm not sure if maybe some of the old results were not great for him, or if some of those were good for him. But it does look like It does look like he kept it up quite a lot if you look at his results following it.
So for the rest of Peterborough, he got a 12 average in the second round and a 13 average in the finals. But he did have a counting 14 in the finals. So I think early on in his cubing career, he seemed to get quite nervous a lot. I don't know if you
He
know anything about
definitely
that.
did. If you look at his times for Manchester, there's a 29 on the first solve. So obviously
Oh
there's
yeah, yeah,
slight difference, but
yes,
obviously that's something everyone goes through at the beginning, and you
yeah,
see a lot of people
definitely.
nowadays starting to get past it really fast and just start to improve really well.
Yeah, the amount of people I see at their first, well, this was obviously a second competition, but their first competition just absolutely bomb the first solve or get a DNF or whatever. And sometimes they get lucky and they manage to get an extra, but that doesn't always happen to everybody.
Yeah.
But what we're looking for is they go, oh, okay, I can improve on that. I'll come to another competition. But hopefully they don't go, that was awful. I'm never going to another competition. That's what we don't want.
Yeah.
So through the rest of 2018, for 3x3, he didn't really drop his average that much. By the end of the year, it was at 11.0. But he also managed to get an 8.5 single at UK Champs, which I think was ridiculously fast for him at the time, wasn't it?
It was very good. I remember him saying he only wanted one out of the competition. This was when I started, so I remember him being very happy with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Another thing I'd like to mention is at his fourth competition, ABHC. His first competition OH average was 43. At ABHC, he managed to get a 17 single, which
That's
massive improvement.
Massive improvement. So I think we'll leave 3x3 for now before we move on to further years. So last year. So if we go to clock, as you all may know, Jacob Chambers is pretty speedy at clock, we could say. He currently holds the national record average with 5.75 seconds,
Yeah,
which...
And that was a big national record. It's an old national record
that was big. That was one of the oldest, wasn't it? It might have been
2016 Macclesfield, or I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Very old record, either way.
Probably like second oldest. Well, probably third oldest, apart from like Oliver Frost's big blinds.
Yeah,
I'd say maybe some of Robert Yao's 4x4 are quite old as well. But he actually, so for the first year he competed in clock, 2018. By the end of the year he had a 18 average and a 12 single, which he got at ABHC.
Yeah.
But if you...
And I believe he was constantly telling me that clock was the worst event at that point. So...
Oh no. But by the time he got to Manchester Open in 2019, which was in the middle of February, he got a 10 average and a 7 single. But he'd been practicing loads before then, hadn't he?
He picked it up over the Christmas holidays, I believe, and he was definitely improving quite rapidly. I think at around the time of that, he was averaging at least sub 10, maybe sub 9.
Yeah,
I can't remember
so
precisely. I didn't keep track that well.
I seem to remember him posting some like 5-second singles on UK Speed Cubing, and people were saying, "Oh, go for NR." So
yeah.
I think he might have got pretty nervous at Manchester, thus giving him some okay results. He still got a 7 single and a 10 average, but I seem to remember him being slightly disappointed with those.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yes, definitely. We'll stick with clock for now since it's currently his main event.
Yes.
So Chester, so that was only a month after Manchester. He got a 5 single and an 8 average.
Yeah, so that was, I believe, his first result ever to be top 100 in the world.
Yeah.
And no, it would have been NR3 at the time, maybe NR2.
That sounds about this. NR, I'd say NR3. I think the 5.7 was NR3.
Obviously, lots of people have shown up recently, but around then, clock was a bit unique, and yeah,
definitely. But yes, as I said, he also got an 8.3 average, which had a counting 9 as well. I'm not sure what time his last one, because it is a DNF, but could have potentially been a very good average. So would you say around here he was averaging like low 7?
I believe at least that, yeah. I do think so.
So he was still getting very nervous at competitions, but still pushing out some pretty solid results despite that.
And managing to pull off good clock results while nervous is not easy, because clock is a very unforgiving event. You have to turn so accurately, and
if you make one wrong turn, you'll be fumbling for ages or you'll DNF.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I personally don't really like the event.
Yeah.
So then at Lincoln, which was in April, so still just a month after that, he then got a mid-7 average.
Yeah, well,
and in the first round, and then another 7 average in the final with a 5.3 single, which that was NR2.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
It was NR2, tied NR. No, it was just NR2.
And he also
it was tied NR2 because Sam Spindler also had a 530 at that point.
Tied NR, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
and then he also got another 7 average, which got him his first podium.
Yeah, and he was very happy with that.
Yeah. I remember telling him after all the results being inputted, I think I was looking at the scorecards, and he was extremely happy with that.
Happiest times I've ever seen him.
Yeah. Well, were you at Kilkenny when he got NR average?
Unfortunately, I wasn't. I wish I could have been there.
Yeah, that would have been cool. I think I was in London at a cubing meetup with a few guys, and I think we were bowling, and then we suddenly looked in the group chat, and we saw it, and we were like, what? Because he got NR average before the last solve, didn't he?
Yeah,
and then
he
improved
it. It was a 6.2 average guaranteed, but obviously, and then the nerves are gone, and he just not even a great scramble. He just got a 4 anyway, because he just it wasn't even, from what I can tell, it wasn't a ridiculous scramble. He just had no nerves.
Yeah.
He'd broken that barrier.
Yeah, definitely. So before we jump too far ahead to that, he then didn't proceed to break his average until BSO.
Yeah.
But
then when he broke that average, he managed to pull off a win.
Oh yeah, he did. That was his first win, wasn't it?
It was his first win.
Yep, 717 average.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that now. That was pretty memorable.
Yeah.
But he also managed to get another 5.3 before that as well.
Yeah, he laughed it off, but he was a bit annoyed that he managed to tie his clock signal.
Yeah. So he also got his first sub-7 average at Leeds with a 679.
Yeah. I think he was happy about the average, but I think he was a bit upset about the group he was in, because obviously...
Yes, because that was Leeds...
They had a questionable scramble.
You got the scramble though, didn't you?
I got the scramble. That's still my PR single.
But it was before you practiced clock a lot, wasn't it?
It was when I was averaging 9 on clock, yeah.
And now you average what? Mid-7?
Just about sub-7.
Oh, just about. Jeez, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he pulled off the sub-7. Sadly, wasn't in the group with the ridiculous scramble where there was a 3 and a 4 and loads of 5s, but
he won that round as well.
He did win the round with that average, but he only came third in the final because he had, just some not great times. So at this point, he's averaging low 6, isn't he?
Yeah, and it's probably notable to mention that at this point he starts getting noticed and he gets sponsored
by QCK. Yeah.
Yeah, so he became part of Team Imperium because they knew he was close to getting the national record. It was bound to happen. So.
Yeah, and he was also showing promising results in other events such as 3x3.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So ABHC, it looks like he had he had a disappointing average with a counting 9, but he had a 515 single.
Yeah.
Which is well, at this point NR singles pretty hard to get because it's what 3.9.
Yeah.
That's kind of you have to get a good scramble for that. Yeah. And then
I can see it happening.
when he went to Kilkenny, that's when he got the NR average and a 4.41 single.
Yeah. So that's a massive mental barrier. He keeps winning ever since then.
Yeah, his results have been pretty solid since then.
So he has the top 2 results in the UK now.
Yeah, because at UK Champs, he was UK champion with a 6.63 average. Perfectly sub 7 as well.
Very, very consistent average. That was quite a painful average to watch because he actually dropped the clock on I believe it was the 4th solve and still
I remember that.
6 on it.
Yeah. But
and
still,
he was terrified going into that round, and he just pulled it off either way because he's just ridiculous at clock.
Yeah. And then most recently at Fontwell, he tied his 4.41 PR single and got a 6.19 average in the finals, which is, NR2 result, isn't it?
Yeah. And something notable about that 4.41 is that I believe it's 12 moves, which means it's almost 3 TPS. Doesn't sound like much, but on clock, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Wasn't there a really easy scramble on the third
one? That was the 4th one.
The 4th one.
The 4th one was very easy. But
it looks like he messed that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Jacob Chamberlain clock. Do you know what he's roughly averaging nowadays?
I believe he said he's low 5.
Low 5.
He kind of goes above and below it every now and again. I know he's got big goals for the future.
What's ER clock average at the moment?
It's like 4.9 something by Dimitri Gundin. I know Dimitri got it, and then it was disqualified because that entire round had to be disqualified for whatever reason, and then he got it again.
4.99 with a 3.34 single. So singles pretty out of reach, but average is if he just has good scrambles and has a good day, that's definitely feasible at this point.
I think it's definitely possible.
He's going to Euros, isn't he?
He's going to Euros. He's third out of Europeans on the slope sheet right now.
So if he manages to hold his nerve there, then
we could see a podium at the very least. But
yeah, Euros is going to be an exciting comp this year because we've got a lot more top level queuers in the UK now. Where last year we only had.
I really want the UK to take it home. Just the UK to just everything.
Yeah, I reckon Scube. We've got George Clock. We've got Jacob and also Theodore Preferis. He seems to be putting in some pretty sick results. 3x3, it's definitely George could pull out something good in finals. Possible. My aim personally is to try and get finals.
You can probably manage that.
That's my aim.
Blindfolded, obviously, we've got Chris Morris looking into.
Yeah. Chris definitely has a chance of podium there if he holds his nerve. And FMC, we've obviously got Harry Savage. He was the current reigning European champion. And Robert Yao is pretty top level. Daniel Shepherd.
Fabio Schwant's pretty good at FMCs.
Yeah, we've got lots of top level FMCers. Am I right in saying Robert Yao also podiumed in FMC last year?
He did. Two out of 3 of the podium were UK.
Yeah. So hopefully it'd be good to see at least one on the podium. But Sebastian Toronto, he's the current world record holder, so there's a high chance he'll end up winning.
World record single,
World record single.
Yeah.
But we're getting a bit off topic there. So if we go back to 3x3, we can see Jacob. He got a 9.26 average in April of 2019. So that is only
Can Open finals, which almost led to him podiuming in 3x3.
Yes, 9.26 was very
only
close.
Slightly by you. I believe.
By me, yeah. I think I got 9.1 or something.
So there's that, and it's also that was his PB average by over a second. His previous was 10.51.
1.25 seconds. So in one and a half years, he dropped his average from 16.5 to 9.2.
That is insane.
This is still his current PR average.
Yeah.
He's had a couple of chances
had a
to
close
beat it.
call. I know.
Oh,
Guildford,
he's had Guildford. He had 8, 8, 7, 10, 10.
Yeah, which I think it's his second best average anyway.
He also had
so close.
at Guildford. He had 10, 9, 8, 8, 10.
Yeah.
Western Supermare. Yeah,
can
he's had a few fails.
Definitely see him getting a sub 10. No, not sub 10. Sub 9 official
I'd
average.
I'd expect sub 9
few
from him soon, really. But obviously his focus isn't on 3x3 at the moment.
Another thing to mention is round 1 at Leeds Open. He got a 7.39 single.
Yeah, he had a really lucky last layer for that, didn't he?
His last layer was actually longer than his F2L on that solve.
yeah, I remember. He got to last layer like sub 4 or something, didn't he?
Yeah.
He actually, yeah. But it's still a very good
From what I can
single.
tell from his reaction, he didn't think it was a good solve because of the last layer. But
yeah.
Obviously, some really good F2L there. That's what I can tell from him in general, is that when it comes to events, he picks them up really fast because he's got really good turning speed and just look ahead in general. So
yeah,
he does get really good at things very fast.
Definitely. Something I've noticed with Jacob in a lot of events is he doesn't use much inspection time.
Definitely not at all. I used to give him hell about that, but
yeah, I remember that.
It helps him not get nervous. I think he said before.
Definitely, yeah. Because sometimes if you get a quite an easy scramble and you for any event and you just try to look into it too much and plan more than you'd usually plan, you can easily mess up or just get really nervous.
Definitely, yeah. Happens to a lot of people. Happens to me.
Like at Fontwell, when I had my 4th Scube solve of my 3.7 average, I just remember finding a layer, putting the Scube down and solving. Because I've been trying to get sub 4 for ages, even though I don't practice at home. It's just been a goal I've had in competition. And I knew that if I just like tried to predict second layer or anything, last layer, I would just get really nervous. So I just found a decent layer and then just started.
No, it reduces the amount of time you have to overthink things. I know something I've always done is just sit down and say I'm ready immediately because I can't be bothered to just.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. We're getting sidetracked again. What else?
Sidetracked again. His general all-roundedness.
Yes.
He's currently, what did we say? 8th in the 11th in the country for average summer ranks.
And single summer ranks 11th and 8th in the country for summer ranks average.
And well, that's better than me by 5 ranks and 8 ranks.
Yeah. So, and what's quite impressive about that is that there's only 2 events where he's top 10 for average, and there's only 1 event where he's top 10 for single, which are Clock and Megaminx. But he's got such a decent skill in every single event that his averages are high ranked in almost everything, like at least top 30, top 25.
I just find it impressive that he can be so good at one event, but then good at every single other event.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if I put all my practice, well, not all of it, but most of my practice into one event, I don't think I'd be able to be as good as he is at other events as well.
Oh, definitely not. No.
Like, recently my focus has obviously been on 3x3, and I've felt my skill drop away in Pyraminx and Scube and other events I used to practice more. And I just can't keep up with these guys who are practicing every event. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. So Jacob, I think he's practiced a lot of big cubes recently, and that might be why you see his results in all of them kind of dropping down. So
yeah,
like 7, 6, 5, and 4 have all got really good all of a sudden, rather than being 111 5x5 average, like 221 6x6. They're all quite decent.
Yeah, much faster than me. I cannot get my head around big cubes. I just lose focus mid-solve and give up.
Yeah, well, that's what, as I said, he's got a really good grasp on looking ahead and just staying focused, not pausing much, so that helps him get good at lots of stuff.
He's also been picking up blind a bit as well, hasn't he? He got a 55 definitely. Single at Fontwell. 3 blind single.
Yeah, I've been trying to help him get more into blind recently, and he's definitely improving really well. For still using old Pockman and M2, he's doing really well, and I
Yeah.
think he's around sub 50 now. So
we definitely could see even better results from him soon.
He's going to compete in Don't DNF Dublin, the Irish competition. So I could imagine multiple podiums there.
He's also got a 7 out of 8 multi recently as well. Was that at Fontwell?
That was at Fontwell, yeah. He beat me on time there.
and his only DNF was by 2 flipped edges as well, so close to 8 out of 8.
Yeah, no, he's quite for an event he doesn't do at home. He's done pretty well. Like his two official successes have been 4 out of 4, which was his overall PB, and then that 7 out of 8, which, as far as I know, is also his overall PB. So
I cannot get my head around multi-blind. It's far too out of my league.
Yeah.
But on the subject of blind, he hasn't competed in 4 or 5 blind yet.
He's competed.
Oh no, he has. He's competed in both of them, but he's just got DNFs.
Both the times he competed in them, he didn't yet have a success in either. He now has a few successes in.
He's got a 504 on a 4 blind PB on his channel, which is ridiculously fast.
That's it. Yeah, that's quite good. Yeah.
He doesn't have any 5 blind results, but
I don't think he's got a 5 blind success, but he does know how to do it.
Yes.
That's a hard event to motivate yourself to do at home anyway, because it takes so long.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that's most things covered for Jacob Chambers. If we look at his upcoming competitions, he's going to Doncaster, isn't he? So
he is one of the organisers of Doncaster.
Oh, obviously he's going, and he's going to Don't DNF Dublin as well, which is both these competitions have got 3 rounds of clock, right?
I believe there's only one in Dublin because it's a 1-day competition.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have thought.
Yeah, you would have thought Sean O'Toole would want more, but.
Oh, there is only one. Okay. So we've got lots of rounds of clocks coming up.
Yeah.
And a good bit of blind as well. Yeah, Doncaster's. Yeah. Hopefully, he'll manage to break NR average again at Doncaster. That'd be good to see.
Don't doubt it at all. With 3 rounds, it's bound to happen.
Yes. It just some okay scrambles and no nerves. Good sleep the night before, easy peasy. So I think that's everything on Jacob. I don't know who I'm going to do next. Obviously, any suggestions from you or the viewers, listeners, please let me know.
Yeah.
Anybody you can think of, Ben?
Only person who immediately comes to mind is definitely Daniel Tidzi.
Yeah.
Really good all-rounder. Really starting to actually stop blind from being so dominated by Chris.
Yes, definitely.
He's getting really good. And not only at blind, he's ridiculously good all-rounder. And I believe he has the number 1 Kinch without an NR at the moment. But that could change.
Yeah. I'm hoping to see some good results from him at Doncaster. He hasn't competed in a while. Since UK champ.
Since UKC.
So I haven't been keeping up to date with him with what he's averaging and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see him improve in some of those events.
Yeah, he's definitely. I believe he posted on his YouTube channel a 22 3 blind mean, so that's already very much sub NR. So
yeah, definitely.
I do have high hopes for Daniel in the future.
Yeah, I've always been a supporter of Daniel Tidzi ever since he is started improving in 3 blind and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's one of the nicest guys I know as well.
He's a lovely guy, yeah.
Right, so I think that's it for this episode. We've rambled on a little bit longer than last episode, but there's a good amount of content in here.
Yeah.
So, as always, let me know what you think about the podcast. And I've been considering just moving slightly away from the Cuba focus idea and maybe just having it as a general cubing podcast, but still having this as a section. So if you, tell me what you think of that, or if you just want me to keep it like this. So thank you, Ben, for coming on to talk about Jacob Chambers.
Yeah,
and
anytime.
yeah, I'm not sure when the next one will be. I'll probably do it after Doncaster. I might start doing it after every
definitely
competition.
see some new results coming after that, and it's a good
definitely,
time.
yeah. Right, see ya.